Good morning. We're ready to start our panel. Our panel is workforce development, which is one of the hot topics of every conversation and every conference these days. Our panelists will give about 10 minutes of information, and then we'll have time for some questions. So I will introduce all three of them first. Charley Ayres joined the Central Texas Workforce Board in October of 2018, so he's been with us for almost 5 years. Prior to that time, he served 16 years in economic development, and so his remarks will be based on his background in economic development. He is responsible for one of the most interesting programs that we operate in Central Texas. It's the Student Occupational Awareness and Recognition Program that provides labor market information to students in the ISDs, and he'll talk more about that. He serves on lots of boards, but ones I will highlight is the P20 Council, the Strategic Partners Educational Advisory for Texas A&M University at Central Texas, also the United Way of Central Texas. He's received lots of awards in his young career, but one that he's most proud of is Partner of the Year Award from both the Round Rock ISD and the Killeen ISD. Charley is one of the few people I know that was really born and raised in Austin, Texas. Anybody else in here born in Austin? Oh, hey, we have somebody else back there. Graduated from Callan High School. Johnson, I taught at Travis. He received his MBA in Business Management from Tulane University and is a certified, completed the United States Chamber of Commerce Institute of Organizational Management, and he's a certified workforce development special. Charley aspires to be the kind of man his dog thinks he is. Then it's my privilege to introduce Karen Martinka-Poe. Full acknowledgement, she serves on our workforce board. And so I have the pleasure of seeing her every month, if not more often than that. You won't believe this, but she's been in the human resources field for 23 years, the last 6 at Reynolds Consumer Products. And usually she brings treats, but today I don't think I see anything. She's highly involved in the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Corporation. She received her bachelor's administration from the University of Laverne in California. She relocated back to Texas and made her home. She has 2 children, Caitlin, a senior at Texas A&M University, and Kaiser, a spunky pre-K. What a rage in that household. Okay. And then we have a relatively new person to Central Texas, DeDe Griffith. She is Vice President of Workforce Development for Temple College, and full disclosure here, she is my friend and also in my Rotary Club, although I see her very infrequently there. She does pay her dues, which is important. So any Rotarians in here? Yay, yay. Jason? DeDe has a long history of education, and I could read it to you, but here's what I'm going to tell you about DeDe. You know, I've been around for a long time, as you can tell, or Aaron mentioned that I've been around a long time. She has an insight into what a new modern community college really looks like today, and so she has come in a little over a year and retooled all the things that go on, or many of the things that go on, preparing students for the real world. I'm a graduate of Temple College. It doesn't look the same as when I graduated from there. She is working on her PhD, almost there. So that's the short bio. Charley, come on up. I'll turn it over to you first.
Okay, do you want me at the podium?
Oh, of course.
Okay. So I'm used to doing whatever Susan asks. Someone once asked me, do you have issue with working for a woman, having a woman as your boss? And I was like, no, my mother was a woman. I've been bossed all my life by women. So I do want to give a quick shout out before I just share some quick remarks about how Workforce Solutions can be an effective partner for small businesses. I'm always glad to see Commissioner Demerson in the House. Commissioner Demerson, thank you for your commitment to the state, and thank you for taking time to be in Central Texas. In another life, I was an economic developer in Round Rock, Texas, and we had never done a lot of work with the governor's office, but one of the first recruiting trips I took, and I literally mean another life, Commissioner, that was years ago now, I went to Detroit, Michigan, and the state of Texas was recruiting automotive manufacturers, and it just so happened there was this young gentleman from the governor's office that was on the recruiting trip with us named Aaron Demerson, and I watched him all week, and I saw how he interacted with individuals, and I thought, man, that's what I want to be like when I grow up. But Commissioner Demerson, thank you so much for your commitment through the years. And I learned early on, if you wanted to get something done at the state level, call Aaron, because he's going to follow up on it and call you back, and he's always there when you need him. So I appreciate your commitment all that time. Thank you. So small business owners and small business representatives, you have a partner in the world of recruiting and retaining and training, developing talent, and that is your Workforce Solutions of Central Texas organization here in Central Texas. We cover 7 counties across the center of the state. However, you may not realize this until today. We are not the unemployment office. As a matter of fact, we can't even give you a check. We actually are committed to businesses with a business service team. We have staff scattered across the 7 counties that are specifically trained to help our business owners, and it doesn't matter the size of your business. They're prepared to be there for you in most of your talent recruitment efforts and your training needs. And what I would share with you real quickly is probably the most critical need you have today. Well, let's say number 2, we'll just take revenue and set that over here. Everybody needs revenue. Nothing says I love you like cash. But your second most critical need is most likely training and finding and hiring and those qualified employees. And it never helps when you're trying to run a small business and you're in a region and then all of a sudden you have a Buc-ee's or an In-N-Out burger that shows up that's paying $16 an hour plus 401k benefits, and you're just trying to run a business. You're just trying to make it day to day, and you don't know how you're going to compete against a large national brand or even a large chain. How does that work at the end of the day? Well, the way that works is you utilize resources that are available to you that are of no cost. You notice I didn't say they were cheap. They're no cost. Because it's not cheap work that you'll find in our career centers. Our individuals will work with you in many aspects. We have the largest job board in the state of Texas at our disposal that's called workintexas.com. It is larger than Monster. It's larger than Indeed. We even can pull jobs from other parts of the state in downtown Temple or in Killeen or in Milam County. We can find individuals that you may be in need of, even special individuals. We recently, not long ago, had a company come into the area that was looking for a manager of chemical manufacturing. Now, you try to find a manager of chemical manufacturing in Bell County. It's almost non-existent. However, because of the vast network we have across the state with our workforce boards, I can tell you the Gulf Coast has a lot of chemical manufacturing managers. And we were able to make those connections and help them connect with the talent that they needed to find. If you are trying to find those talented individuals that are just right for your company, you need to contact one of our career centers and make use of the resources they have. They will even help you plan and promote and build a hiring event just for your company if that's necessary. We have quarterly events available to you. It is no cost for you to participate in those, but we have a very far reach. We just recently completed an annual event that we do every spring for all the college and high school graduates at the Bell County Expo Center. We had 807 students show up looking for jobs. And we had just over 65, 67 employers there. If you weren't there, you missed out because this was fresh meat. These were individuals that had many times just had an entry-level job as they were going through school, and now they're ready to start their careers. Or they just completed an industry certification through their school district, and they're a certified welder, or they're a certified medical assistant, and now they're looking to step off and start doing their pathway through their career. This is an advantage that small business should take advantage of. And I know what you're saying is you're like, well, Charlie, we're a small business. If I'm not there, we're not open. I can't go to a hiring event. Well, that's what the business services team's for. If you call them, they can meet you at your business, they can talk about your needs, and they can help fulfill those job orders that you need in order to hire that talent. We've heard a lot of discussion this morning about digital media. Social media, ChatGPT, websites, and all that should be part of your small business plan. But let me tell you something, and do not forget this. Your greatest competitive advantage is the person that you hire that is standing at the counter. Your greatest competitive advantage is the person that you hire that makes the delivery to the customer. Because at the end of the day, whatever face your business, whatever brand your business has, it comes down to the talent that's in your building. And it is going to be one of your largest investments. So you need to make sure and get that part right and understand that that needs to be a priority, even in a world that is becoming very digital. We're still about relationships. We're still about relationships. Because every one of you sitting in this room, you know that you like to go and use that company that responds to your need. And HB was up here a while ago, and he shared something interesting about a company that they did work with in Florida. That company's in Florida, but they're using Perry Office because when they call them, there's an individual that takes their order and sees it through the process. And they make sure they get it. And if the order is an order that they're paying too much for, he has a staff member that makes sure and gets that corrected and gets that taken care of. So at the end of the day, it's a very important investment you make in your workforce. So we're an extension of your HR. We not only can help find that talent, but we can also help you retain the talent. We are in very close partnerships with Central Texas College and Temple College. We can help you develop customized training just for your staff. And thankfully, Commissioner Demerson has a very large checkbook that we can get on the phone and say, we need a small business grant to do some training for these individuals. They're trying to step into a new field. They're trying to upskill. They're trying to move to a different level. They've got some new equipment that they need training on. And because of our partnership with the Texas Workforce Commission, we have the ability to provide you funding to make that happen. Something else that's going on that you need to be aware of, and I just mentioned it briefly, is I think very few people still hadn't caught up with the innovation and the changes that are going on in your Texas public school system. Career and technical education is the thing now. And we figured out that even students that are going to college need career and technical education. And now you have high school students that are graduating with industry-based certifications. They've already had internships. Some of them have been involved in apprenticeships, and they're better trained than students have ever been. It's not like those of us that went to Austin ISD. You know, we kind of like, most of the time we were taking Lake Travis 101, and then we showed up to school when we knew it was crunch time and we had to be there. But if you remember, there wasn't very long ago, it was just like, no, you need to get your high school diploma, you go to college, and then you'll figure out what you're supposed to do after that. And now in 8th grade, they're choosing their career pathways, and we're walking those students through those career pathways all the way through post-secondary education. And it's pretty incredible what's being produced with our students. Don't pay too close attention to what national media tells you. Go visit one of your high school campuses. Commissioner Demerson actually has toured the Temple ISD Career and Technical Education Center, and you would be amazed what these education institutions look like for high school and middle school students now. Workforce is here to help you navigate that. We're here to help you manage your talent needs, and we want you to know that we're here to support you because small business ownership is not for the faint of heart. And it is hard to run a business when technology is changing so fast. We don't even know what 2 years may look like. So thank you so much. We will be here for questions afterwards. Susan, I didn't use my 83 slides. Did I do okay on the time? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Charley. I would like the team from Workforce Solutions to stand up so you can identify a face. And one of our best tools that we have is child care assistance. So if you are recruiting, we have open enrollment, or if you have employees that are struggling to pay for their child care. So a family of 4, the income is about $6,000 a month or $75,000 a year. So we have child care, open enrollment. See one of our staff. Karen. Talk about challenges, and you may or may not want to tell your secrets.
There's lots of them. Well, thank you for having me this morning. I'm loud enough, so having this microphone is really nervous to me. It's one of those. But I do want to make it clear that I was born in Texas. I am a Texan, even though I did go to school in California. I did get back here as soon as possible. So I am native, but I wanted to talk a little bit about today. Commissioner Demerson really, he hit the spot when he said the secret sauce. And I will tell you, I have partaken in the secret sauce in development of Reynolds Consumer Products over the last 6 years. And those who don't know Reynolds Consumer Products, we are actually the Reynolds Wrap brand and the Hefty brand merged together. And so for those that don't know, we produce the Hefty waste bag here in Texas about a mile across the highway. So it is one of those small businesses that a lot of people don't think of, but the merger happened in 2011, and so we are very small and continue to grow. Hefty brand has been around for many years. In fact, we've been in Temple 50 years, over 50 years at this point. So again, we're a little small business, a secret that a lot of people don't know. When I came to Reynolds in 2015 now, they were only about 215 employees. During the pandemic, obviously a lot of people stayed at home, so trash bags went up. I mean, we did a lot of sales. In that time, we doubled in size. We're at 430 now. A lot of that over the years has been with the help of the Workforce Solutions team, the EDC, and the education schools around. When they talk about giving money, that is a challenge for all companies. Regardless of your size, it's always money that you have that you need to invest in all these challenges going on. Working with the team, all 3 of them, we were able to secure a grant of over $96,000. So as you are growing your businesses, I have to say that is one of the best secrets is invest in our workforce commission, our boards, our EDC. Get to know your educators throughout the community, and it's not hard. It's not, I don't know how to write grants. You know, I make sure everybody comes to work every day as an HR manager. They walk you through. They tell you what you need. They are there to support you. So again, I wanted to share a little bit of my secret sauce and how it has worked for us as a small business growing and doubling in size. One of the things they asked me to talk about today is the challenges within the workforce. It is an employee's market right now, as most of you know. With lots of jobs, like Charley said, you have Buc-ee's, you have In-N-Out, You have FedEx coming, you have Meta, who might be here today. There's a lot, so a lot of employees, they don't know what they want to be when they grow up. So if another opportunity comes, let's go see what that is. Or the employee thinks there's 50 cents more or $1 more to go to Tesla. I'm going to go check Tesla out. And if y'all haven't realized, Tesla is hitting the Temple community. People are wanting to drive for that extra $1, $1.50. And so it is challenges that we're facing right now. And I will tell you, one of the things that we have learned is we have to invest in our employee. And it doesn't cost anything to invest in them. This is when we don't need your checkbook, but thank you anyways. Taking the time to know your employees, what they want. The workforce did change during COVID. And what I mean by that is a lot of people realize I can work from home, or I can make my own schedule, or I would rather go deliver for Favor or Grubhub, work the hours I want, have the money the next day, and be able to sustain my lifestyle. And that is not only, because of COVID, but the new generation sees that as well. So invest in the tools, learn your employees, see what they want. For us, we're having to develop, actually roll out new software for our time and attendance system to where people can switch shifts. I don't want my shift, I'm going to give it to you. Giving them the opportunity to be able to create their schedule. Is it ideal? No, we want our people there all the time, but at the end of the day, you need an employee there to execute the job. Regardless of who it is, if people want to work 50 hours a week, great. If they only want to work 20, great. Somebody's there to cover the shifts. So again, learn what they want. It's their needs, because you want to retain them. And that's the biggest challenge right now, is retaining and offering them what another company can't offer. The other thing is the development. The challenges that we see is a lot of people don't have the technical skills. And that's why we are partnering with the schools. We're, manufacturing, and people think, what kind of skills does that take? It takes a lot. We're actually partnering with the Chilton ISD Rosebud lot on the robotics. So we're bringing high school students in, we're doing tours, we're saying here, this is what we do. So as a challenge, they know when they come out what kind of skill set they need to be able to run. So I would invite employers to get your students out there, let them know what you're doing, let them know what you're manufacturing, help them decide what they want to be when they grow up, and have that opportunity to have the face-to-face with them and go speak about what you have to offer as an organization. The other thing I would tell you is there's a lot of soft skills that have kind of missed because of the digital society we live in, whether it's Facebook, where it's Instagram, and one of those things is really, again, partnering with education to get students to talk to you. That is the biggest thing, is what we see is that soft skills, that's been a challenge of even the teamwork within organizations. So we've had to go in and develop, how do I want to be a team? It's not, I just go in, you go to work and I don't want to talk to you. It's all about a team, but those who don't know how to communicate one-on-one, that's been a very big challenge. So again, working with the new workforce, getting them developed in those skills that's needed to be successful within your organization. And I would tell you the last thing is, it is great to have the digital workforce, but nothing replaces the one-on-one talks. Nothing replaces, again, you walking around to your employees and telling them a job well done. Or, it doesn't take anything to go, and this is very minute, go paint a rock. You've seen all those rocks around the community where people have painted them and said, you rock, or, great job. Something like that does wonders for somebody. And again, it doesn't cost anything to be able to do something like that. And artificial digital media like that, you can't replace it. So again, the challenges of keeping your employee, getting them into your businesses are big. But I can guarantee that if you sit there and invest in your employee, you get to know them, you can overcome that as well. Is that it? Okay.
Miss DeDe, we're ready for your secrets from, anyone here from Temple College? Yay. How about Central Texas College? Okay, you're free, you can tell your secrets.
So I would like to say that they are secrets, but in reality, what I'm going to talk about today is really happening everywhere. Let's see, though, who's in the audience. Can you raise your hand if you've ever taken a class at Temple College? That's awesome. Now, if you've ever taken a class at any other community college, like, put your hands up together, Temple College and the other community college. Look around. Look around at how many people in this room have experienced a community college education. They are changing, though. Temple College is about to approach its 100-year anniversary in 2 short years. By the time that happens, we'll have 4 new, beautiful, modern buildings on campus. We broke ground this past week. One of those is a Visual Arts and Workforce Center. You probably are familiar with Temple College and other community colleges in transfer. In fact, most people, I've been in Temple only a year and a half, and most people, when I tell them I work at Temple College, they'll say, TJC? Temple Junior College, because that's what most people know it for. And after nearly 100 years of excellence in transfer, our students transfer and do very well. We're really proud of that. No change in what we plan to do in terms of those relationships and helping students transfer. But we really have become a modern community college, and the transformation really happens on the workforce side. People will say, workforce, is that continuing ed? Well, yes. Is that CTE, career and technical? Well, yes. Is that helping students go to work? Yes. Is that working with employers? Yes. It's all of those things. And we talk a lot about independence, and there is some, with our sister colleges, there is some healthy competition, a little bit of competitiveness, but where we used to really structure ourselves to be independent, the interdependence between our fellow colleges and between our agencies that we work with, specifically Workforce Solutions, TWC, the school districts, the Higher Education Coordinating Board, all of us working together has really become the secret sauce, to be honest with you. So, for example, students really no longer, or there are very few students who get to experience a traditional college education, where they take all their high school classes and then they graduate and then they go to the college of their university of their choice and they stay there for 4 years and then they may or may not come back to town, and that is probably the least common experience for students. 85% of our students attend college part-time, which means the majority of them are working while they're attending school. And why would you work at a low-wage job when we could help you right away get something in your field of choice while you're going to school? So, Temple College, when we talk about workforce development, which is the division that I'm blessed to work with, we actually have kind of 3 areas. You probably are very familiar with that transfer, that traditional education, which people don't get to experience as much anymore. But Temple College also works directly with small businesses and large businesses. Samsung, Tesla. Had a meeting with Tesla the other night. But we work with small businesses as well. You may have heard of Skills Development Fund grants. We partner with Workforce Solutions to help. We do write grants. And Julie Escamilla has a table outside, and she has become a master at writing the Skills Development Funds grants to help small businesses, medium-sized, large businesses, get training for the workers that they have, to continually upgrade your workforce and even your processes. Some companies are moving into the digital world, and we can help that happen through the partnership with our interagencies. So we work with small businesses. We work on that side. We work on the college side with the students, but we also work on the economic development side. Meaning, if we are part of the conversation when industries are considering moving to the region, we can be proactive instead of responsive. Meaning, if we wait until Meta is here and Meta is built for them to say what they need, it takes a long time to build a program. But on the workforce development side, we can stand them up very quickly. And so being in the beginning of the conversations with the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Corporations and TWC really helps the college be proactive and be that need immediately instead of a year down the line. So let me explain a couple of things that we've done at Temple College. So one of them is that we have integrated Industry 4.0 standards. Anybody know what Industry 4.0 is? So Industry 4.0 is really it's the skills and the content that is leading to advanced technologies. So we're talking about augmented reality and virtual reality. We're talking about cybersecurity, the Internet of Things, data analytics, cloud computing, robotics. Those principles that you hear about on the periphery, those are literally already engaged in a lot of businesses. And we are trying to train those students, those skills, so that they're prepared for employment with you all, and in some cases, to help the businesses bring their current businesses into the future. Just like the college has had to modernize, your businesses will need to modernize. I kind of look at your businesses are in perpetual motion. They're either growing or they're shrinking, always. It's very difficult to have a status quo in a business because the world is in perpetual motion. When HB was talking a minute ago, I was struck by his discussing this. He's always looking at it. He is always having to improve and looking at the competition. There's like this continuous curiosity. You have to be continuously looking and assessing that behavior, your behaviors, whether you're doing well or you're not doing well, and also be ready to shift. So we can't necessarily teach the students everything they need to know because, to be honest with you, we're training for jobs that don't exist right now. But what we can do is train those basic principles that make them very good learners. They learn to learn, right? And they have those basic skills that they need to get in, and with preparation to know when this shifts, this is what I'm going to do to meet the shift. So we train the businesses, we train the students, and then we work with the economic development agencies within the community. So you may not have thought of Temple College as sort of part of this ecosystem, but it really is. And so now students, what we're developing, I'm going to give you, we like to use our acronyms. So I'm going to give you a few that you're going to start hearing a lot. 2 minutes. The first one is an OSA. It's an Occupational Skills Award. It's a very short-term credential, 9 hours, which is like 3 classes. For credit, or 144 contact hours, total clock hours, and it has an industry-based credential, an IBC, attached. That's a very short-term training award where an individual can come in, get training within a few weeks, and leave with a credential that's validated by an outside agency, whether it's for fundamentals of electricity, or it's for customer service, or it's for safety. There is an opportunity for students to come in and get out and come in and get out, instead of having this long-term traditional education. Now, we form a relationship with them when they come in for that short-term certificate, and through that relationship, we try to ensure they come back and they continually build. These certificates are stackable. They can come in and get one of the small ones, then they can come in and get another, and they can come in and get another until they stack those together to get their degree, if that's what their goal is. Many of your businesses don't require a degree. So the final thing I want to ask you to do is to really think about what are the skills that are needed for your business. There are roughly 3 million adults in the state of Texas over the age of 25 that do not have a high school diploma. 3 million. But over the age of 25, most of them already have a work life, they have a work history. Many of them have families and obligations. They know they need to work. Many of them have great work ethics. But they've had to take minimum wage jobs, many of them, because they do not have their high school diploma. We're expanding our adult education, and all community colleges, or most community colleges, have really robust adult education. But what we're trying to do is about 1,200 students each year we work with in our adult education department for ESL, English as a second language, and for GED attainment, high school equivalency attainment. We're also training them at the same time. You do not have to be college ready. You do not have to meet the testing requirements to take these short-term credentials so that you're prepared for employment. So I ask you to consider our adult learners that are pursuing their high school diploma. I ask you to consider them for employment. If you are someone who has normally said you need an associate's degree, you need a bachelor's degree, that's a great standard, but I think the gap in the workforce, this particular population could be a really good benefit, and we can get them their education while they're working for you. And I guess there's one more thing. Work-based learning, really looking for opportunities through internships, apprenticeships, job shadowing, research development. There's so many opportunities that will help students understand what careers they're headed for. I'll give you an example. If they're going to transfer in the field of chemistry and they're working at a local fast food, why not get that student a OSHA certification so they can work for Palladia that actually creates chemicals, right? So if they're gonna work, let's get them in a field that's related to their transfer so that they can give context to what they're learning. And that all comes from you all. Those work-based opportunities comes from working with you. So I would love to interact with you, have a conversation about what your company's goals are, and Julie Escamilla out there and myself would love to figure out how we can help you reach those goals and connect you with really skilled workers.
Perfect. We have time for a couple of questions. I have one, but I'll entertain questions from the audience first. Who has a question from one of our panelists? HB.
When they're switching shifts and they get below the hours for health insurance, how are you tracking that? How does that work?
It's all automatic within our system. So usually they don't. They, of course, covering up, it's 32 within like 30 days before they would hit down to part-time. So our system tracks it, alerts us to let us know those things. Yes.
Other questions? Okay, this one is for Charley. What happened to the workers? Where are the workers? People just don't want to work anymore. They just get paid to stay at home.
So the workers are there. There is no more free money. I will tell you just a little antidote. I won't put Tom Elmore on the spot, but he's here. I'm going to give him a call, a shout out. I mentioned to y'all a minute ago that we had a hiring event at the Bell County Expo Center just a couple of weeks ago. I went by, I had a couple of meetings that day, so I wasn't going to get to the hiring event till a little later, but I went by to check on Tom, see if he needed my help with anything. He was there early getting things set up, and when I got there was a gentleman sitting on the bench out in front of the Expo Center, and he had looked like he had ran a marathon. And he was completely sweaty. He had old tennis shoes on, and he had a radio with an earbud in, and he was sitting there and listening to the radio. And I knew he didn't look like he fit the part of a graduate.
High school graduate.
Any graduate, high school or college. He didn't look like he fit the part of a graduate. But I went inside and I asked Tom, I said, did you know there's a gentleman sitting out front? And he said, yeah. He said, I checked him out earlier. He has, he's just waiting for the doors to open to the hiring event. And I said, well, it looks like he's been running a marathon. And he said, well, he walked here from downtown Temple. So if you don't know where the expo center is, that's like up in Belton, one exit past Belton. And he walked from downtown Temple to there. There are people that still want to work in our region. One of the things that's probably impacted us the most is, like you hear on any other discussion, baby boomers. They are retiring. In the last 3 to 5 years, we've lost about 115,000 folks in Central Texas to retirement. It does have an impact, but the individuals are still out there that want to work, and this gentleman certainly was a testimony of that, that was willing to go to those kind of lengths to try to find a job.
And he was hired that morning. Okay, we're out of time, and he's giving me the cutoff, so thank you very much for allowing us to present to you today.